Good Monday morning to you all. Hopefully you guys are doing great. We got another Watchmen update. Some big news items here. We got over 1 million people being evacuated. It's a big one, friends. Airport shutdowns just got way worse, but relief might soon be on the way. We got Europeans targeting each other's power grids, and it is impacting many people. And a jihadi has visited the White House. That's exciting news there. And one watchman on a pension is going to explain to us how being prepared has saved their family. And a trucker shares how to be prepared even in their truck that they live in. Helpful to anyone who's living in tight spaces. We got that and a whole lot more. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates. If you have something to share with the rest of us, make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment. That does get it to the right place. We also do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help people with retirement accounts to get out of stocks and bonds and into something safer. If you'd like to find out more about that, there'll be a link at the end of the video, and you can check that out. They also have some free resources like some books that you might want to check out as well. All right, friends, over 1 million people have evacuated ahead of the deadly super typhoon Feng Wang. Yes, it sounds like a game that you could play on the internet, but instead it is actually a deadly super typhoon. It's massive, huge, and it's hitting the Philippines. This is after the Philippines just got hit by another typhoon, and this is hitting now the Philippines northeastern coast. For those of you who know where I am, that is further away from me and not where I am down here. All right, we got at least 2 people having perished already and has forced more than 1 million people to evacuate from areas at risk of flash floods, landslides, and tidal surges. Videos out there showing some pretty massive tidal surges hitting villages and wiping away a whole bunch of people. It's a big deal across the Philippines. We got that typhoon is going to head right into Vietnam probably, or into southern China. We'll see. All right, full ground stop ordered by the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, at Chicago O'Hare Airport and JFK. This is due to staffing shortages. Now, they did get those airports operational again, but it was just a massive hit there. 10,000 flights delayed on Sunday. Single worst aviation day since the shutdown has begun. It's day 39, with 3,200 flights canceled. This is as reductions have gone into effect Friday at 40 high-traffic airports. And let's just say those airports have a tendency to be in blue cities and blue states. We'll see how this goes going forward. But there might be some relief heading down the line, and that's good because the FAA has mandated cancellations of 4% of the flights over this weekend, and it is supposed to ramp up to 6% on November 11th and 8% November 13th, and then up to 10% by November 14th. So we're talking about a large portion of American flights grounded and canceled. But, and here's the relief, the Senate has finally advanced the bill for a continuing resolution. This is to fund the government through January 31st, where we'll get to play this game all over again. Several more votes are needed, but they've got the votes. They got their 60 votes to get it out of the filibuster stage, and then once it's out of the filibuster stage, then it's 51 vote majorities, so the Republicans can carry it the rest of the way. 8 Democrats ended up voting for it and 1 independent, and basically what they got out of it is that the Senate will actually vote on whether or not to continue the ACA or whatever it is, the Obamacare funding. So basically a whole bunch of emergency funding happened when the cough happened. They gave a whole bunch of money out to anyone with health insurance on the Obamacare network, and people got a whole bunch of free handouts, and the Democrats are like, let's keep handing out that free money. And Republicans are like, the pandemic is over, so that funding should expire. It was intended to expire. It was promised to expire. It just needs to expire. It can't just become a brand new handout. Anyway, they're going to vote on continuing that, but it's probably not going to go very well. And even if it goes, even if the Senate passes it, the House of Representatives are going to shoot it down. Basically, the Democrats want the Republicans on record as killing it. That way they can campaign on it or whatever. Because hypocrisy knows no bounds. They don't really want that. They just want it as a campaign issue. Wendy's, the restaurant, the fast food restaurant, has announced that they will shut down between 200 and 360 of its locations, roughly 5% of its restaurants. And that just kind of tells you where the economy is. 5% of all the Wendy's across the nation. And word as McDonald's is having serious troubles. We'll see if the franchisees start shutting down their businesses. All right, we got Ukrainian drone and missile strikes disrupting power and heating in two major Russian cities near the border. Voronezh experienced temporary blackouts and heating loss after a drone strike, while Belgorod suffered significant damage to its energy systems, leaving thousands without electricity. Both those were temporary disruptions, but the Russians have been pounding the Ukrainians, Kiev and Kharkov, as well as other major cities in in Ukraine, are dark, and they remain dark. There was a recent interview, I believe yesterday, that Zelensky was giving, and let's just say the power went out twice during his interview. Kind of embarrassing because it's just can't keep the power grid on. The Russians are taking out their power systems one by one, and it is starting to make the grid collapse. And most of that is in retribution for what the Ukrainians have been doing to the Russian power grid. All right, Syrian president and known jihadi, former Al-Qaeda president, has arrived in the United States for his landmark visit to visit the White House. And Syria is announcing a large-scale operation against ISIS cells across the country. Of course, they're going to use that as an opportunity to crack down on anybody that they don't like, and then they're going to call them ISIS. So, Kurdish ISIS groups, which, of course, if you know anything about the Kurdish, you're kind of like, that doesn't make sense. Kurdish don't do ISIS. It's like, exactly, but who do you think the Syrian government is going to go after? Are they going to go after their friends, ISIS, or are they going to go after basically their enemies and then call them ISIS? Now, that it is true that Al-Qaeda and ISIS are not are not completely blood brothers. They compete against each other for the attention of the world. Al-Qaeda kind of views itself as kind of the OG, the original gangster, and ISIS is an upstart. And ISIS looks at Al-Qaeda as kind of publicity-hungry, clowns that can't really accomplish anything. So they don't like each other, but at the same time, they are basically trying to accomplish the same kind of stuff. It's just they're arguing over who gets to be in charge once they establish their caliphate. Anyway, Chappie says, my wife and I were in Aldi's and Walmart in South Georgia. She normally loads the cart and I unload it at the register. I felt the milk carton bulging and looked at the date, which expired by 2 weeks. It was expired by 2 weeks at Aldi's. Walmart, she grabbed butter and yogurt, both of which expired that day. Then she grabbed some bread and it had already molded. Watch this stuff that you're taking home, right? You really need to be a smart shopper. You need to investigate stuff because the cashiers, the stockers are not checking those dates. You need to do it. Vinny Eck says, we have had Walmart Plus for a couple years now. We like it for home delivery. Normally we are sent an email if an item was out of stock. However, for the times when we did not get the email and an item or two are missing, my wife goes on the app, can also call, and reports it, and they credit back the amount to us. Additionally, you can change the amount of the tip. We normally tip well, but a week or two ago, we had a driver drop off everything in front of our front door. We were not able to open the storm door because it was blocked. We went around and took care of it, but my wife lowered the tip for that delivery. Walmart Plus is pretty good. Even as a single person, I was finding it fairly useful because you just don't have to go to the store anymore. I mean, how much time do you spend going to the store? And if you're anything like me, when you go to the store, who here has a tendency to grab more than what you intended on getting? Now, I know there's that sense of hunt, and there's this nice idea of, I'm going to find me a bargain. But usually what ends up happening is I buy something as a treat for me, and I buy more stuff than I should. And so actually I kind of found in the app, it's nice because I just buy the things I need, and then I don't buy anymore, and it just kind of worked out better where I spent less money overall. Plus, there's no wondering how much things cost. I don't have to stand at the store shelf and compare items. I can look at the cart and make choices there. So I found it to be useful, but I found it $50 useful, not $100 useful. So I waited for it to go on sale and then got it at $50 a year. I think just recently they didn't offer that to me again, and I just didn't continue it. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like Walmart Plus? Oh, and we got the flags back up. We got the studio has been moved, and we are here. We'll be here for the next couple days, but then we'll take a little trip. But we'll come right on back. I know a whole lot of you guys have been wondering where the flags are and wanting the flags back, and the flags are indeed here. An appeal to heaven, and we got the American flag, of course. Undeserving Grace says, apparently there is a nationwide penny shortage happening. Went into work at Food Lion as a cashier in upstate South Carolina, and we had signs asking for exact change if possible for our customers, and couldn't open any rolls of pennies unless totally necessary. Now, of course, this is happening back in February 2025. President Trump ordered the U.S. Mint to stop making pennies because pennies are dumb. And why are pennies dumb? Because every time the U.S. Mint makes a penny, it costs 3.7 cents to make. They're paying 3.7 cents to make, and Americans have a tendency to lose a lot of pennies every year because a lot of people just kind of don't really view them as worth all that much. If they were worth 3.7 cents, maybe we'd view them as worth more, but we're being told that they're worth 1 cent. So in other words, the penny is just not worth anything anymore. You can't buy anything with it. And while I know a lot of people have nostalgia for the pennies, the nickel is basically the new penny. And so they're phasing out the penny because of inflation. When you look at what a nickel can buy, you go back 20, 30 years, and that's basically what a penny used to be able to buy. So it's not that the pennies are retiring, it's just inflation is getting us so bad. And I hate the word inflation because really government spending and fiat currency manipulations have caused this for us to lose massive amounts of our money. Karen says, my daughter was in line to return something at Walmart, and a foreigner with a heavy accent said, you have something on your pants. You need to go to the ladies' room to fix it. She was next in line. She returned her item and picked up and I picked her up in my car at the door, and she said, Mom, is there anything on my pants? And I said, no, nothing. We think he was trying to get her into the ladies' room, maybe abductions, who knows what. She was very scared from it. Just because someone tells you something doesn't mean you should do it, right? Please stay safe out there. Be on alert when you go to the stores, especially things like Walmart's. Always keep your spidey senses going around you, right? Puny says, Northwest New Jersey. I live in Sussex County, which is a collection of townships. I talked with a customer that drove to my grocery store, Weiss, looking for chicken and said none at her local store. Weiss was pretty much wiped out from all the beef products. I was shocked. I mean, empty spaces. I see empty spaces a lot and got the last 2 stew meat packages. Weiss did have plenty of turkeys. Also, Walmart frozen vegetables are turning into the thinnest cuts imaginable. My go-to peppers and onions, usually full slices, were cut in half both ways. Yes, and still the same price. It's a shame that these companies will not give up 1 nickel of their profits at our expense. Big Blue says, Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. None of my local food stores have stocked Keystone canned meats, but I order it online, shipped from Walmart. Pork and ground beef have been discounted. Stand Firm to the End says, no Keystone meats at all for at least the last 2 weeks in Northeast Missouri. This is the Kirksville Walmart. So some people having issues getting the Keystone meats out there. Butternut says, I bought a 2-pound bag of frozen raw medium shrimp from Safeway. I'm hearing this story repeatedly from you guys. I boiled them like I have always done. They were mushy, so I had to give them to my chickens. This is in northern Arizona. Mushy seafood suddenly as they're injecting the seafood with water, which is just weird and unnecessary. Sarah says, I usually buy Angus frozen beef patties from Sam's Club, but haven't gone in a while. I found frozen 80/20, 100% Angus ground beef patties at Walmart for about the same price, so I got 2 boxes. We cooked some for dinner, and I was blown away. The shrinkage was not 20%, that's how much a patty should shrink as you cook it, right? It was about 50%. I paid for 1/3 burgers and 1/3-pound burgers and got sliders. I couldn't believe it, and I took the other box back. Had to be water because it wasn't 50% grease. Terry B says, I still watch all of your videos, but I can't contribute too much to updates as our income has dropped due to my daughter-in-law losing her job. I still get a pension and am supporting another family. I do not get assistance and do not consider my pension assistance since I worked very hard for decades. Obviously, pension is your retirement, right? And paid into it. What I want to stress is the importance of being prepared and self-sustaining. Because I garden and because I can stuff and have been preparing for almost 2 decades, we are eating just fine, even with less trips to the store. Being prepared, growing your own when you can, and preserving what you can, knowing how to cook, all help when any emergency strikes, including job loss. Thank you for all you do, and keep reminding folks to be prepared. Thank you for that reminder. I think that strikes home to a lot of us, right? Whether you lose your job or have lost your job, or whether you fear the possibility of possibly losing your job. Putting away food can save you. TY says, Savannah, Georgia, drove trucks for 20 years and I was stuck in Snowmageddon in Atlanta, which did not have much in the way of snow trucks at the time. I was able to make it to a parking lot and spend the night, but as a truck driver, I always had things like oatmeal and canned soup in case I got stuck adding a customer for a day. Always had plasticware, paper bowls and plates and paper towels. I had a little 12-volt water heater that I plugged into the lighter and would fit inside a ceramic coffee cup. So that makes water for the oatmeal or coffee or hot chocolate. I always have things like peanut butter and crackers as well. I also had a heated blanket that ran off the 12 volts. I also kept some bags of the icing salt and a small shovel in case I had to dig my way out to get moving the next day. So just every little step that you make to get more prepared can be a lifesaver. Every little thing makes a big, big difference. We just had that typhoon and we lost power for a couple days here. I dug out an LED light, and my brother was staying here, and it was just like, it was amazing how much difference having an LED light made. Having an LED lantern is one of the best preps you can have, because not only will it allow you to do stuff at night, but also it will lift your spirits in ways you didn't think possible. Yeah, trying to use the bathroom in the dark is no fun, and having a lantern in there, it makes it a whole lot more bearable and all those things. All right, friends, thanks so much for joining with us. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold, there's a link right there on the screen. If you want to check out another video from his channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.